because of this account. Actually, I tried with one of my friends' credit card also, but it is not accepting.
Okay. Karthik,
Is that Visa card or a different card? Supposed to Visa.
Yeah, it's Visa only. It's Visa only.
But sometime what happening when you are creating that email ID and all, you don't put your number once you given each number.
No. Actually, I have created new mail and I have one more alternate number for my personal number in my. I am using that for home use only. That number only, different number only I gave, and HDFC credit card with Visa.
Yeah, some of card is not taken. I was trying, it was not taken. Finally, I went to one friend and taken that credit card. It was taken.
Okay. Yeah. Then I have to try tomorrow only. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have one doubt.
It will take that.
Akash,
Yeah.
if we were creating that virtual machine different region, means we are creating one virtual machine in US 3 and one more will be do in US UK region. If you do peering, it will be connected to virtual machine will be connected.
Yeah, it should connect. If you're cross-regional, cross-account, wherever you're trying to peer, it will work.
Okay.
Karthik, I have pinged you something on the chat. Can you just look into it? So guys, today the topic which we are going to discuss is basically about storage accounts. Okay, so that is the new topic which we are going to discuss. Okay, storage account is something which is like your Google Drive or your S3 account and stuff. Okay, so we are going to discuss about that. We are going to see what is the use of it. Okay, and what are the things we can do with storage account. Okay, so let me share my screen. Yeah, so a storage account is basically used for storing data. Okay, you can store different types of data in your storage account. So for example, if you just go to storage accounts here, okay, and probably I'll take this example. Okay, so here you can see there are different types of data which you can store. Okay, so first type of data which you can store is containers. Okay, you can store queues. Okay, and then you can store file shares, and one more thing which you can store is tables. Okay, all these types of data you can store. Container is basically you can literally store anything. Okay, so it will be stored in a format of blob. Okay, blob stands for binary large object. Okay, so that is with respect to containers. Queue is basically a message. Okay, it is basically a message, so you can store it in the queue. Okay, file shares, you already know what is a file share. It is basically used for storing files and people can access it, and it is a centralized location for keeping your files. Okay, for storing files. And tables are basically non-structured database. Unstructured database. Okay, so unstructured database is your tables. So you have containers, you have queues, you have file shares, and you have table. Okay, these are the different things which you can store in your storage account. Okay, so when we talk about the blob, okay, we have three different types of blobs. Okay, so when we talk about blob, we have three different types of blobs. One is page blob. Okay, page blob. Second one is append blob. Okay, and the third one is block blob. Okay, so these are the three different types of blobs which are available in your storage account. Okay, first type of blob is basically used to store VHD files. Okay, VHD stands for virtual hard disk. Okay, virtual hard disk files you can store in page blob. Okay, and append blob you use it for log files. Okay, if you want to append something, appending is nothing but adding something. Okay, if you want to append something, you will be using something called append blob. And blob is anything apart from these are all blobs. Okay, general files. Okay, all general files are blobs. Okay, so these are the three different types of blobs which you can have in your storage account. Okay, so storage account, whatever name you are giving, okay, that should be unique in nature. Okay, you cannot have storage accounts which are not unique in nature. It should be something which is unique all over the world. Okay, if this name is taken, you cannot create another storage account with the same name. Okay, and one more thing is there is performance tier. Okay, so you have standard, you have basic performance. Okay, and you have premium performance. Standard, premium, and basic performance. Okay, so depending on your requirement and depending on the cost, you can choose whichever type you want. Okay, so that is with respect to the performance of your storage account. Okay, and apart from that, you have one more thing called replication. Okay, so you have 4 or 5 methods of replication of your data. Okay, so replication is a very important concept with respect to storage account. Okay, replication of storage account. Okay, so I will just explain you with the image so that it is easy. Okay, so replication in storage account Azure. Okay, so what basically happens is you have two things. One is you have a primary region, okay, where your basic storage account is stored, okay, where you are creating your storage account, and the other one is cross regional. Okay, so first we will discuss about the primary region where the redundancy is going to happen, the replication is going to happen. Okay, so basically first one is LRS. Okay, LRS stands for locally redundant storage. Okay, the concept of LRS goes this way: 3 copies are stored within a single data center. Okay, so this is your data center, this is your storage account. 3 copies of your data is stored in the same data center. That means you have 3 copies in the same data center. That is LRS, locally redundant storage. Okay, that is in your primary region. The data is stored only in your primary region. Okay, and the second type is ZRS. Okay, where 3 copies are stored in 3 different data centers. Okay, availability zone 1, availability zone 2, availability zone 3. Okay, so 3 different copies of your data in your storage account is stored in 3 different availability zones or 3 different data centers. That is ZRS, zone redundant storage. Okay, so these two, LRS and ZRS, are part of your primary region. Okay, so this is going to be in your primary region. So you can opt for whatever you want depending on your budget and depending on your requirement of your data. Okay, you can opt for whichever replication you want. Okay, so you have LRS, you have ZRS. This is going to be in your primary region. There is only one region which is going to be involved. Okay, so that is with respect to LRS and ZRS. Okay, so when it comes to the secondary region wherein another region is involved, okay, we are going to have two more options. Okay, so we have GRS and GZRS. Okay, we will try to understand about these two. Okay, so when you talk about GRS, okay, so first what happens, your LRS happens in your primary region. Okay, one LRS, so 3 copies in a single data center, and after that is done, asynchronously it is going to have another copy in the secondary region. Okay, this is your primary region. Okay, and it is going to replicate to a secondary region to a different data center, and it is going to do an LRS. That means GRS is combination of two LRSs, one in primary region, the other one is in secondary region. Okay, so that is GRS, geo redundant storage. The first one is going to be a synchronous replication. Okay, and the second one is going to be an asynchronous replication. Okay, do you know the difference between synchronous and asynchronous method of replication? Yes, synchronous and asynchronous.
No, no, sir.
Okay, So basically synchronous is whenever you are putting your data, okay, let's say this is my storage account, okay, this is my storage account, I am the user, I am adding data, okay, I am adding data into the storage account. So whenever I add data, okay, let's say I'm adding data at 8 o'clock, immediately after you add the data, the copy will be created, okay, the copy will be created. That is synchronous. As soon as you add the data, the copy is going to be created. That is synchronous replication, okay. So this is concept of synchronous replication. Asynchronous is no matter when you are adding the data, the copying is going to happen only at a particular time. That is, let's say 8 o'clock I add the data does not replicate immediately, okay. So it is having a fixed time like 8:30 once in every 1 hour, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. Even though you add it at 8:15 or 8:10, the copying is going to happen at a particular time only. That is called asynchronous method of replication. Synchronous, that in the moment you add the data, it is going to be replicated. That is synchronous. It is in sync with your storage account, okay. And asynchronous is no matter when you are going to add, I am going to perform the replication at that given time only. So that is asynchronous method of replication. So what happens in GRS is one, the first copying happens synchronously, okay. So LRS, what is LRS? LRS is synchronous method of storage, okay. LRS is going to do synchronous replication. So first copy is going to happen synchronously, and the second to the secondary region it is going to happen asynchronously, okay. So that is with respect to the GRS, okay, geo redundant storage, okay. And the second type is GZRS, okay. GZRS is also quite simple, okay. What happens here is your replication to the first data happens with the form of ZRS synchronously, okay. So you're going to add data, 3 copies in 3 different data centers, okay. And then there is going to be an LRS in your secondary region, okay. So GRS is 2 LRSs, GZRS is 1 ZRS and 1 LRS. So these are the different methods of application which you are going to replication which you are going to get for your storage account, okay. So as you move from top to bottom, from LRS, ZRS, GRS, GZRS, the availability is going to increase, okay. I'll show you. See, LRS, you have 99.99 11 nines, okay. So that is going to be the durability of your storage account when you are doing LRS. As you move further down, you have 12 nines, which is for ZRS, 12 nines, 99.12 nines, okay. And when you go to GRS, it is going to increase to 16 nines, okay, 16 nines, and GZRS also 16 nines. So depending on how secure you want your data, okay, depending on how uh, often do you need it, okay, depending on that you can choose the redundancy model, okay. You can choose the redundancy model based on that. So if something goes wrong in your data center, you can quickly fail over onto the secondary region, or you can have the copy of the data, okay. So if something goes wrong in the rack, it isn't see, LRS is in a single data center, right? So one rack goes down, the other 2 racks are there to take care of my data, okay. I am not going to have a data loss. But let's say if the whole data center is down, then what happens, okay. So I have few questions for you, okay. Let us see if you can answer this, okay. Question number first, are you clear with these concepts? 4 concepts: LRS, ZRS, GRS, GZRS.
Yes, Akash.
Okay, first question,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
Which of the following redundancy model, okay, is able to handle a data center outage? Okay, let's start with rack outage. Which of the following will be able to handle a rack outage? Okay, so what I mean to say is one particular rack where one particular copy goes down, okay, which of them will be able to handle it? Okay, which of them will be able to sustain it? You have 4 options. You have um, first is LRS. One second. I'll give you all the 4 options: LRS, ZRS, GRS, GZRS. So which of them will be able to handle a rack outage? One particular rack goes down. Which of them will be able to handle it? You can choose multiple options. You can choose none of the above. You can choose all of the above. It's left to you. You can just put it on the chat. Just put it on the chat. Come on, guys. Which of them will be able to handle a rack outage? Karthik, waiting for your answer. First, Karthik, you finish the first question and then you can move on to second question. Others, you can start with the second question. Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss after all the questions are done. Which of them will be able to handle? The second question is which of them will be able to handle data center outage? Option remains same: LRS, ZRS, GRS, GZRS. So which of them will be able to handle it? Fine. Moving on to the next question. Karthik, one question. Do you have your account now, Azure account?
Yes.
Yeah, can you share the credentials because mine has expired?
Okay.
You just I pinged you on Skype. You can just share it there.